Alright, what's up guys? Brian here, and this is my WWE Monday Night Raw thoughts on this past Monday night's episode of Raw. So let's get right into it. Of course, this past Monday night's Raw was the go-home show before WWE No Mercy this Sunday, which is a Raw brand only event. So let's get right into the review and right into my thoughts on this show. We found out a huge change to one of the matches that will be taking place at No Mercy. We started off Raw with Kurt Angle, the general manager, hyping up No Mercy. He would be interrupted by The Miz and The Miztourage. Miz would just go off on Kurt Angle, saying, that, of course, last week Miz and Maryse announced that they are expecting their first child. Miz brought this up, saying that he's going to be more of a dad than Kurt Angle was. All this stuff, basically just insulting Kurt Angle. This would bring Jason Jordan out. Jordan would get in the face of Miz. This would lead to Kurt Angle announcing a six-pack challenge to determine the number one contender to the Intercontinental Championship at No Mercy. It would be Jason Jordan, the Hardys, Matt and Jeff, Elias, and Bo Dallas and Chris Axel. And that would be the main event of Monday's Raw. And I'll get into my thoughts on that in a minute. But the opening match was Nia Jax taking on Alexa Bliss. Of course, these two are going to be involved at No Mercy in a fatal four-way. And I'll get into the change on that match in a minute. This one was pretty much really wasn't much of a match. Alexa, of course, giving up the size difference to Nia Jax. Basically, Nia beat her 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. Sasha Banks would get involved afterwards. She would go after Nia. Nia would throw her down to the mat. But before she could do any further damage, Bayley would return from her shoulder injury that she suffered a few months ago. And Bayley, Alexa, and Sasha would take down Nia Jax. Then Bayley and Sasha would take down Alexa. And then that was pretty much it for that. They then would announce that at No Mercy, the fatal four-way that was supposed to happen between Alexa defending her Raw Women's title against Sasha, Emma, and Nia Jax will now be a fatal five-way as Bayley was added to that matchup. So, honestly, my thoughts on this matchup, it started out as a one-on-one match where it was supposed to be Sasha getting her one-on-one rematch against Alexa. Then they added Nia Jax and Emma to the match, and now they're adding Bayley to the match. Honestly, I don't get the logic behind it. Moving on, we had a triple threat tag team match. It was Sheamus and Cesaro who will be challenging for the Raw Tag Team Championships at No Mercy against Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. It was Sheamus and Cesaro, Rollins and Ambrose, and Gallows and Anderson. This was originally supposed to be Sheamus and Cesaro versus Gallows and Anderson, but a huge brawl broke out between all three teams, and Kurt Angle made this match a triple threat. Sheamus and Cesaro scored the win in this one. Nothing really exciting here. Pretty much, like I said, Dean Ambrose hit dirty deeds on Carl Anderson. Sheamus, who had made a blind tag earlier, came in and threw Dean Ambrose out of the ring and then took the pin for himself. So they pulled off a victory in this one. So I'm actually looking forward 2, Sheamus and Cesaro versus Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose Sunday at No Mercy. I think that's going to be a good matchup for the Raw Tag Team titles. So, moving on, there were some other things that happened on Raw, like other small segments, like Goldust asking, not with the makeup on, asking for a match against Bray Wyatt, which he got, which he lost, and they basically announced him as Dustin Rhodes, so that he basically lost that matchup. We had Kurt Hawkins once again losing. This time he lost to Apollo Crews. We had a Roman Reigns promo where he talked about this Sunday's match against John Cena. He showed a clip of John Cena from back in 2012 talking about The Rock, how The Rock said he was back and that he was never leaving, and then he leaves. And John Cena in that clip saying that he's not going anywhere. He'll be here. He's gonna stay. Roman Reigns kind of brought that up, saying, "You want John Cena to come out here, right? Well, he's not here." And then he also brought up Alex Riley, who, you know, a lot of stories are going around that John Cena was the reason that Alex Riley got fired or got let go. He brought that up. Basically, just basically insulted John Cena, which Cena was not at Raw this past Monday. He was probably at Dancing with the Stars to support his fiancée, Nikki Bella. So, but like I said, that's another huge match at No Mercy Sunday that I'm really looking forward to see who wins that one between Cena and Reigns. I mentioned Bray Wyatt versus Dustin Rhodes, which Bray Wyatt won. Afterwards, we would get a promo from Finn Balor. Of course, Wyatt and Balor are going to be facing off at No Mercy in a man versus man match. No Demon Balor this time around, like it was at SummerSlam. We had an Enzo Amore promo, basically talking about how he's going to beat Neville for the Cruiserweight title. Then Braun Strowman would come out and basically just destroy Enzo Amore, and then Neville would come out and hit the red arrow on Enzo, and that was pretty much it for that. Neville was involved in a match as well with Gran Metalik that Neville won with the Rings of Saturn, or the Rings of Neville, whatever you want to call it. We had the kind of face-to-face sit-down interview with Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion. Basically, this was kind of reminiscent of the Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar face-to-face, except for there was no altercation where Strowman went and looked for Lesnar. None of that happened. It was just both men saying they're going to win at No Mercy. And then the main event, which was the six-pack challenge. It was Elias versus Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy versus Jason Jordan versus Bo Dallas versus Curtis Axel. This one I thought was actually pretty good. Miz got involved a couple times trying to help one of his men win, but that was not the case, as Jason Jordan would defeat Curtis Axel in this match to win, and now has a huge opportunity at the Intercontinental Championship at No Mercy this Sunday against The Miz. Afterwards, The Miz would leave Jason Jordan laying with a skull-crushing finale, and that was pretty much it for Raw. My overall thoughts on Raw, I didn't think it was a bad show, but seeing as how it was the go-home show before No Mercy this Sunday, I thought there would have been more hype and more build-up. I mean, the way they've been building up the two big matches, Strowman and Lesnar and Reigns and Cena, it really wasn't much. There was really nothing else that says that this was a great episode. But hopefully, No Mercy is a little better Sunday. This Sunday on the WWE Network. Hopefully it's better. Hopefully that the way that they've been building it up. Hopefully it lives up to that name, lives up to the expectation. But overall, my thoughts on Raw, I didn't think it was a bad show. I thought there was some things that could have been a little bit better, but that's just my opinion. So basically, this has been my thoughts on this past Monday night's episode of Raw. It was a pretty good show. I didn't think it was a bad show, but I thought there was some things that could have been better. So with that being said, if you guys watched Raw last Monday, let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. As always, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.